and welcome to your beginner's yoga class. So whether you are just trying something different, stepping onto the mat today, or maybe you've been taking yoga quite regularly, but you just feel like you want to kind of come back to the basics and maybe take a quite slow, gentle class today. Whatever your reasoning, I'm inviting you to get into some comfy clothing and to join me on the mat today. I have 2 pillows with me today. You don't have to use any props, but if you do have a couple of pillows to hand, that might help you feel quite comfortable here on the mat. So I'm taking a seat on one of my pillows to begin class. Now I have my legs in a cross-legged posture. If that feels uncomfortable for you, feel free to take the legs out to adjust your positioning. I want you to feel comfortable. You might even be sitting on a chair or on a sofa to begin this class today. So whenever you're ready, I'm just going to invite you to rest your hands into your lap. Okay, so just let the hands fall, palms up, palms down, wherever they naturally go to. Take a bit of a wriggle, let the shoulders soften down the back. I just want you to try and think about the length through the spine. So trying to make some space through the back, and then having the heart over the hips and then the head over the heart. Soften the shoulders down so the chest is open, so our breath can be clear. And then if you're happy to, we close off the eyes. If this makes you feel a little uncomfortable, feel free to just keep the eye gaze low towards the ground. Now, if this is your first ever yoga class, I know sometimes it's quite difficult to find some stillness, to be alone with your thoughts here on the mat. So please don't be put off if your mind starts to wander and you start to think about other things. Let them come, let them go. But then I invite you to bring your awareness back to yourself. So this time here on the mat today doesn't have to be perfect at all. It's just time for you to move your body, to be aware of your breath, to try to clear the mind. So as we take this moment of stillness, just being aware of your physical body. Maybe you're carrying an injury, if you're carrying some tension somewhere. Being aware of your breath, if it's feeling a little short, if you're feeling a little anxious about this practice today, maybe the breath has got a little bit tight through the chest. And being aware of the mind. Are you coming to the mat today with an open mind? Are you feeling a little bit apprehensive about what's to come, which is perfectly normal? Just don't be too hard on yourself. I'm going to invite you to just slow your breath down. So try and breathe a little slower, maybe a little deeper, and exhaling slowly too. So we're not focusing too much on the details of this breath yet. I would like you to breathe a little slower. And then instead of breathing into the chest where it's quite short, it's quite shallow, I invite you to send your breath down to your tummy. So try to breathe into the belly here and exhale as you gently breathe out. Now keeping that full belly breath with you as we start to bring some movement into our physical body here on the mat today. Maybe you might like to keep the eyes closed or you can flutter them open. Your time here on the mat is always very personal to you. So it's whatever makes you feel comfortable. I'm going to start to gently turn the head side to side. So I'm taking my head to look over one shoulder, coming through center and then looking over the other. So we're kind of turning the head saying no, but very slowly here. And we move with awareness through all of our practices. So as you're turning this head side to side, how is the upper back responding? How is the neck feeling here? So just being aware, moving with intention. And as you come to center, then inviting the chin to come down to the chest. And then taking the eye line softly up. Don't throw the head completely back. We're kind of now nodding the head yes. So we're taking the spinal alignment, the neck in the other direction. And again, being aware and not being afraid to move at your pace. So possibly if you enjoy having the chin on the chest, you might like to pause there, be there for a moment longer. Exploring the body is a huge part of our yoga practice. We'll allow the head to come back through to center. And then we're going to take those hands, interlace them together, and just gently bring the hands behind the back of your head. Take the elbows wide. As you take the eye line up to the ceiling, think about opening through heart center. So pressing the chest forwards. And then as you breathe out, you bring the chin to the chest, the elbows come towards one another, and we curve through the spine, trying to make space between the shoulders and the ears. Let's do that one more time. So we inhale, take the eye line up, peel the elbows back. Feel that space through the front body here. Gorgeous way to open up through posture. And then releasing. Try not to pull on the head. You're assisting that chin towards the chest. Opening up through the neck, the upper back, curving through the spine, all the way down into the lower back here. And then we'll peel up to that spine and alignment we found at the beginning. So your heart's over the hips, head's over the heart. Slowly release the hands, bringing them into prayer mudra, which is where your fingertips come together. I'm inviting you to gently rest the thumbs onto your heart and then closing off through the eyes. So again, pausing and finding a moment to check in. So these little pockets of pause moments I always find are really lovely to add into our yoga practice to bring our wandering minds back to ourselves. And just reminding yourself that we don't step on the mat to be perfect. We step on the mat for a little bit of you time. Now we'll peel those hands away as we open through the eyes, resting the hands onto the knees now. So letting the hands gently rest onto the knees. We're going to take that right arm up to the ceiling, reach up and out of the hips so you feel that space through the rib cage, and then a gentle side bend here. Now, as we side bend, I'd like you to think about pressing your chest through, peeling the right arm back and taking the eye line through so that you're not collapsing this arm in front of the face. And then we're going to bring that arm all the way down now to the ground, close to your hip, to your bottom. Mine will be on my pillow because my pillow is quite big there. And then we're going to take a twist. So we're going to look up and over the right shoulder. Now I'm using this left hand to gently press my body around so it's coming away from the midline. Try not to have the right hand too far away from you. So the thumb's quite close to the bottom. And then we inhale as we lift tall. And we exhale as we twist a little bit further. We'll softly, delicately come back through to center, placing the right hand down. We sweep the left arm up. Now, instead of just simply bending over, think about up and over. So you make space through this rib cage so that our breath has room to really use those lungs efficiently. Pressing the chest through, so we're peeling, opening through the heart. Opening ourselves up to give, to receive love, not only to others, but to yourself too. And then we take that left hand behind the back. Remember, quite close to the bottom for a twist. Using the right hand to push yourself around and looking up and over that back shoulder. Trying not to curve through the spine. We like to make space through the back of the body. Lovely lifted posture and dropping those shoulders down away from the ears. So we're making space. Let's then come back through to center whenever you feel ready and gently bringing yourself over onto all fours. So when we come over onto our hands and knees now, I'm going to invite you to pop that pillow on top of your heels if you're using one. Just for now, we don't need to worry about it yet, but we're just going to keep it there. Now, I'd like you to think about your hands being directly underneath the shoulders and spread those fingertips wide. Trying to find some length through the spine, so sliding the shoulders away from the ears, drawing the belly towards the back, so we're active through our abdominals, so we have a strong base here. Into cat and cow, we're going to dip the belly to the floor now as you take the eye line to look forwards, trying to invite the shoulder blades to come together. And then you exhale, press away from the ground. Think of an angry cat as you curve through the spine and you bring the chin towards the chest. Let's do that again. So soften through the elbows, tilt your tailbone. So this is the tailbone. Tilt your tailbone up towards the ceiling as the eye line looks forwards. And then tucking that tailbone under as you draw the belly to the spine and you curve through the back. Now we're going to come into child's pose. The bottom comes onto your pillow, sliding the hands forwards to the top of the mat and inviting the forehead to come down towards the ground. Now, think about creeping those fingertips forwards a little bit further if you can. Palms of the hands are pressing into your mat. Breathing into the back of the body here. Start to really focus on a big 360 breath. So breathing into the rib cage, into the abdomen, and also into the back. And as your forehead settles down towards the ground, maybe closing off the eyes, trying to soften through the forehead. Allow the eyes to close heavier. Start to feel a softness through the entire face here. Even allowing the mouth to open slightly so there's no tension through the jaw. In your own time, we then lift the bottom off of the pillow. Bring yourself back through to that gorgeous, strong, all fours posture. Softly taking that pillow out of the way when you are ready. From here, we're going to tuck our toes under. Now, we're going to lift the knees off for a downward facing dog. I'm going to invite you to keep your knees bent the whole time. Now, think of your coccyx, this bone right at the top of your bottom. I'm going to invite you to tilt that up towards the ceiling. So you're trying to lift your coccyx up towards the ceiling. I'm keeping my knees generously bent. Pressing the chest through the arms, try to keep the ears in line with the arms, and then invite the heels to fall heavy in the direction of the ground. So slow breath here as you lengthen through the spine. Keep grounding the hands down, fingertips are spread wide, feeling that gorgeous openness through the back of your legs. Now, taking as many steps as you need and going as slow as you need to. You're going to walk the feet into the direction of the hands. And then once we get here, we're going to have both feet flat on the ground. Knees are generously bent once again. That tailbone tilt, that coccyx coming up towards the ceiling. And then you take hold of your forearms. So if I show you front on, we're going to frame the face, taking hold of the forearms, letting the head fold down here, making sure you're not carrying any tension through the head or the shoulders, and allow the body to simply dangle here. So a slow, steady breath as you breathe in through the nose and exhale through the nose as well. And we're releasing any tension, allowing anything negative to leave the body here. And feeling once again the openness through the back of the body. Now I'm going to invite you to release the hold, so let the arms simply dangle. The chin stays on the chest. Now you press through the feet. Imagine the spine like Lego. I'm inviting you to rebuild this gorgeous posture as you roll yourself all the way up to standing. The shoulders come up and then the head comes on top. We inhale, sweep those arms up towards the ceiling. Now, you know that prayer mudra we did at the beginning, fingertips come together, and we bring the hands back down towards heart center. We're going to pause here. Feet are grounded, knees are slightly soft. Then I'm going to invite you to peel the hands open, bringing the hands down by your sides and softly closing the eyes. So we come into mountain pose here. Now again, a pocket of stillness here. And I invite you to truly feel present. Be aware of all 10 toes on the ground. Be aware of that connection between your feet and the earth beneath you. And just simply take note of being here. Everything going on around you. For a yoga practice, it doesn't have to be completely peaceful. It's all about finding the peace amongst all of the chaos going on around you. And then I invite you to bring those hands back to prayer as you flutter the eyes open. A gentle tree to test our balance here today. We're going to ground down through the right leg and then invite the left knee to turn out to the side. I'm keeping the left ball of my foot on the ground and the left heel is making contact with my right leg. Try not to stick your hips out to the side of the right leg. Try and pull up through the thigh. We're opening up through the hips here. Really important to open our hips in our yoga practice. Carry a lot of stress and emotion tight in our hips. So we're peeling open. We're feeling really strong as we ground down through that right leg. Shoulders are soft, and we're just connecting the hands together there, inviting the right and the left side of the body to come together to meet. Take one more slow inhale and exhale as we are here, feeling into all of those wobbles. Then we'll realign that left foot, and then only in your own time, turning the right knee out, popping the ball of the right foot down, the heel next to the left, peel that hip open, pull up through that left thigh, soften the shoulders, lengthen through the spine. So all of that length, that space that we created through the spine on the floor, we want to feel that now. Often in our lives, we're kind of curved over. The posture is a lot more rounded nowadays. So on our yoga practice, we like to peel the chest open, allow the body to function fully, and simply to make our bodies feel good. Let's realign through that right foot, ground down, and then peel those hands open once again. Gorgeous work. When you are ready, inhale, sweep the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Fingertips gently touch. Now I'm going to invite you to bring the hands down through center. Bend your knees. We're going to fold over once again. Release the hands and dangle here in our standing forward fold. So a pose where we simply ground down through the feet, generously bend the knees, lift the tailbone high, and then we're going to take hold of those forearms once again as we frame the face. Take a big exhale, let the body go a little deeper here as you give yourself permission to let go through the upper body. Slow, calm breath. And then release those hands once again, chin on the chest, peeling yourself up. Remember, restacking like Lego, that sensation of rebuilding a beautiful positive spine. Roll the shoulders down the back. Let the head lift last, lengthen through the spine, and we find that mountain pose once again, a strong base, a strong foundation. I'm going to invite you to place your hands onto your hips. I just would like to set you up through one warrior today. So we're going to step our right foot to the top of the mat. We're going to bend into that right leg, and then we're going to step the left foot back as far as we can go. Now let me talk you through this warrior pose. The right foot is going to be flat on the floor, facing the top of your mat, and the right knee is over the right ankle. Then we peel up so that the shoulders are stacked over the hips. We're not leaning forwards. We're not collapsing into this side body. We want to have that space, that length through the spine. Now we spoke about opening the hips in that tree pose. We want to do the same here. So pulling the left hip back. Now the left toes are kind of facing towards the long side of your mat. And the left leg, you pull up through the thigh, that strong base leg here. Now I'm just going to simply keep the hands on the hips for today. We're going to roll the shoulders down the back, and the eye gaze turns to look towards the top of the mat. So really make sure all 10 toes stay on the floor here. Pressing that right knee back, it's pointing in the same direction as the toes. Warrior poses are really strong, determined postures. We're then going to straighten the right leg without adjusting the feet for a triangle now. Now I lead with the right shoulder as I hinge forward, still going to keep those hands on the hips. Think about peeling the left shoulder back, and now maybe see if you can turn your eye gaze to look past the left shoulder, or maybe if it's more comfortable for the neck, keeping the eye gaze forwards. But both legs are straight now, still peeling that left hip back, feeling those legs really opening up through the backs of the hamstrings now, okay? When you're ready, bend back into this right leg. Be careful as you lift the chest up. Let's turn the right foot to face forwards now, and now we're going to turn the left foot to face the top of the mat. We bend into the left leg, so the left knee is over the ankle once again. So we're doing your warrior side. Hips and shoulders stay stacked. Try not to lean forwards. Think about lifting up, up and out. Soften those shoulders as well. The right leg, we're pulling up through the thigh now, peeling that right hip back. Turning the eye line to gaze over the left shoulder. Taking a moment here as we breathe, and we feel proud of ourselves for arriving onto the mat for this practice today. Then we straighten the left leg. Bring yourself up and out of the hips as you gently lean over. Keep pulling that right hip open, maybe turning the eye gaze to look towards the right shoulder. That will help you keep the chest open. You don't want to collapse the chest forwards towards the ground. Grounding down through all 10 toes, pulling up through those thighs. And then softly bending back into that left leg, turning that left toe to face forwards, and just walk those feet, heel toe those feet back into the center, hip distance apart. Take a big breath in as we reach all the way up to that prayer once again. Slide it down through the middle, bend those knees generously, allow yourself to fold all the way over into that standing forward fold once again. And then we will bend our knees as much as you need to bring yourself all the way down onto your bottoms. I'm going to use this second pillow to pop my head onto that pillow. And then this pillow here, I'm going to place underneath the knees, using your hands to bring yourself down onto the ground. So allowing the head to fall onto one pillow if you're using, and allow the knees to be on top of the other pillow if you have access to 2 pillows today. We place the hands onto the belly, and now once again I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Simply take notes. Be aware of how your physical body is feeling after this practice today. Maybe how the mind is feeling. And remember, don't be too hard on yourself, especially for your first time maybe coming onto the mat. The mind does wander. It takes a while to bring that awareness to stay consistent on your body, your mind, and your breath through your entire yoga practice. But give yourself time. Bringing our awareness back to the breath. And I invite you to imagine now that you have a balloon in your belly. I'm going to try and just talk you through a 3-part yogic breath here. So as you breathe into the belly, into that balloon, I would like you to try to visualize that balloon getting bigger and bigger in your abdomen. You're filling up that balloon with your breath. And then as you breathe out, visually watch that balloon deflate, getting smaller and smaller and smaller until that balloon disappears. Let's try that again. So breathing in through the nose. Try to breathe into that balloon, feeling the balloon filling up through the belly, the rib cage, all the way up to the collarbone. And then as you're exhaling, the balloon is getting smaller and smaller until it completely disappears. Trying that one more time on your own. And then gently, when you feel ready, bring in those hands and placing them over your eyes. And as we leave this practice today, I invite you to simply set yourself an intention for the rest of the day. And maybe that might be to be a little bit more patient with yourself, to maybe spread a little bit more kindness, or to simply make a little bit more effort to slow things down. Whatever your intention may be, keep that with you as we step off of the mat today. I invite you to flutter the eyes open and take the hands away. We'll bend our knees first, roll ourselves onto our sides, and then gently use your hand to bring yourself up to a seated posture today. Resting those hands gently back down into the lap. And I thank you so much for joining me on the mat today for this beginner's yoga class. And if you have any questions or need any guidance, please do reach out, as I'm always more than happy to help. I thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. Namaste.